This week's episode of the Good Dude, Good Dad podcast is brought to you by BioPro. Use the link down below plus code GDGD upon checkout, along with Hidden House Coffee. Go to hiddenhousecoffee.com and use code GDGD on your checkout to receive a discount. Now, enjoy the show. Welcome back to the Good Dude, Good Dad podcast. We are in our new setup. This is the second episode in our new setup. First guest, we have George back with the dudes.
Dudes, gosh dang it.
The boys?
I was going to say, is it the boys?
Saturdays for the boys.
What's the one
the dudes.
you have with?
The dads.
The dudes and
I'm
the
a
dads.
Even though
dad.
you're
I know
a
you're a
dad,
dad
too.
too, but we...
Yeah, but I had to think of something different because you were the first one to do this with us,
Yeah.
and we called it the dudes. And then I was like, well, now do we do
And
it?
I feel like every episode with Hollow has been talking about parenting almost, I feel like, so far.
Yeah, actually.
Not unintended, just it's happened.
But you guys hang out as parents a lot
Our-
with
well,
their kids.
Yeah, all our kids are
Our
all the
daughters
same
are in
age.
the same class together.
Yeah.
And so we're constant. I talk to Hollow and Grace a lot, actually. Probably more outside of you. They're the people I talk to the most.
Yeah.
Because I see, like, I see them at pickup and drop off, and if there's like a project where both of us are both sets of us are like, wait, what did you guys do? What are we? Is this due? Is that not due? What?
Yeah, it sucks because I don't have that with River.
Yeah.
Like we don't. She has friends at school, but me and Gladys are
Not friends with them.
acquaintances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't have very many either. We just got really lucky that we were already friends with Hollow and Grace. And then our daughters happened to get, like, we also did try to push our girls getting into class together last year. This year it was just a crapshoot, But yeah, outside of them too, we have acquaintances. Like, you say hi, Cash invites them to a birthday party, but outside of that, it's like we don't.
Yeah, we've been to.
You're about to piss off a whole bunch of people that think you guys are really close friends. That
friends with everyone.
they're gonna be like,
they listen to you.
like, Ben, what up, dude? I thought we were friends. No.
Well,
I think when you get older, you just want to be around people that you could have a conversation with.
Yeah.
And we'll go, there's events like trunk or treat happen, and I'm like, I work late. I don't want to go.
Oh, you didn't go?
No.
Yesterday? Was it yesterday? Or 2
No,
days
it was
ago?
last week.
Last week.
It's like I go, like, me, I'm an extrovert that's an introvert.
Yeah, it's weird.
Like I adapt and I'll but when it comes to, like, my wife likes Disneyland. I hate Disneyland. I love people watching.
It's fair too.
Like I like going and people watching. I love people watching.
Yeah.
But also we went to a birthday party and we're sitting there and I don't drink anymore. And
Right.
dude, it was like the parents' birthday and not the 5-year-old kid.
Yeah.
And it's like all his bros and drinking tequila shots and getting wasted. Dude, we sat for 4 hours and they didn't even bring the food out yet.
Where were you? At a restaurant?
No,
for a
we were like at a pool party.
Oh,
They were getting pizza. I don't even remember what food they had, to be
dang.
honest.
Yeah.
Like, we're like, oh, we're all hungry. They're all drunk and all this, and the kids are like playing in the pool, and they're like, hey, let's do the piñata. They had nowhere to put. It was just so unorganized.
Did you guys ever watch The Office at all?
Not really.
No?
Devin tried to get me to do it. I don't.
I'm not into
There's-
it. I don't watch all
Yeah.
these sitcom shows.
We have a couple, and one of them's The Office. There's this great episode where the boss invites all these people over, and then they're like, oh, okay, well, it's like for a dinner party. They're like, okay, when's dinner gonna be ready? They're like, oh, about 6 to 7 hours. And she's like, what? And she's like, they're doing some Spanish beef that has to cook for 6 hours. She's like,
Oh, that sounds bomb.
and they're like, but they show up at dinner time, and there's yeah, we're not gonna eat until midnight, and everyone's dying of hunger the whole time.
Dude,
That's how I feel right now.
Oh, I'm so hungry.
It's so frustrating where people don't take in consideration of other people, right?
Yeah.
All the time.
And it's all about them, and they don't look at the big picture,
Right.
of all these little tiny things to be in place. Right, I'm gonna do the pizza pop up on Saturday, right?
Yeah.
to the T. Like I plan out everything. And I'm just making 4 different pizzas.
Yeah.
But I want it flawless. Like I don't want to have any hiccups. I don't want to have anything. I want it like once 11 hits, those ovens are hot. Everything is ready. Whoever's the first, it's ready to go. Or like if I'm inviting people over for dinner, right? I already have something for them to enjoy.
Yeah.
I have
There
something
has to be food there when they show up. That's the worst when you show up. That's why I love going to your house. I walk in, there's so much food already ready to eat.
It's my Filipino-ness, dude.
Yeah.
Bro, that's
Not the white side. It's the Filipino side.
That's the Hispanic side in me. That it's like if you show up and there's nothing for your guests to eat, that's
Yeah.
like a dishonor.
Yeah.
It's like dishonor on
Dude,
you, dishonor on your family.
I got a perfect one. This is such a funny story. So my buddy was coming into town and like, hey, we're all gonna get together, pool party at Jay's house, and it's they have like 8 kids there total, right? There's probably 6, 7 adults, and I get there and there's like some chips and dip out and all that, and the one guy, oh my god, it's so funny. He's like, oh man, I got some carne. Have you been to the new Mercado Market in Costa Mesa, the Northgate?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, it's so cool. I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's Northgate, Santa Ana, or whatever. He's like, yeah, I got some carne asada. I got some tortillas. I'm like, all right, cool, man. Want to start grilling it? He's like, sure. He pulls out his 2 pounds of meat. You know how much 2 pounds of meat is?
Not that
like
much.
I eat 1 pound by myself.
That's not enough meat.
I think I could eat 2 pounds of it.
I could
I'm like,
probably
there's
eat
like
2 pounds.
8 kids and probably 8 adults.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
That's-
oh, we're
You need
screwed.
like 10
Yeah.
pounds.
So I'm, he's not
Yeah.
a cook,
Yeah.
he's like knows nothing. He's like, oh, this should be good. It's going to be great. I'm like, oh, we're screwed. Because my mind goes to like, oh, there's not enough meat.
Yeah.
Like I cook,
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you got in your fridge? I'm pulling out like pepper, like just anything to like make food stretch it out, right? And mind you, they're all wasted.
Yeah.
And
That's the worst.
it's so
I feel bad when you go to a party like that because it's in my nature. I don't want to say this to sound douchey, but Devin knows too. I mean, you guys have been around me long enough. Like, I don't go and serve myself right away. Like, I'm gonna go last. Like, just how my dad taught me.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But when you go to a party like that and there's like limited food, I'm like, well, I'm already going last, so that just means I'm not gonna eat.
I'm not gonna eat,
Or I'll just bypass it altogether because you see the food,
Right.
And you're like, oh, like. I could be fine if I don't eat, but I
Right.
want to make sure other people, even if it's not your party, you're like,
well, dude,
oh,
when we went and did barbecue at your house after
Yeah.
that hunting trip, there was so much food.
100%.
There was
Yeah,
so much food.
Ben feeds twice the number of people that are showing up, always.
It's pretty
Which
accurate.
I so appreciate. Like, we give you a hard time, but dude, I like, because the thing, like, I walk in, if I look right away, I'm like, there's not enough food, I'm like, I'm not eating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I'm not going to be the dude that takes the food
yeah,
and like nobody else gets
that's
to
my
eat.
thing.
'Cause then
You
you feel
take in
guilty.
consideration of other people.
Yeah.
I'm that way too. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to eat tonight.
I've had the same conversation with some, I'm not going to say whose side, family members.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, why is it your responsibility? And I'm like, because that's the problem that
I'm a man.
we're
'cause,
in is like,
I'm a human being that cares about other people.
yeah, they're
I
like,
don't
well,
know.
it's not your party. I was like, yeah, I get that, but that's the problem. If everyone
Right.
thought like what you're saying to me right now, that's the
But
selfishness.
when it comes down, that's that entrepreneurial mindset, and that's why you're at where you're at, because you're always looking. People like we look at the overall thing and not just the one thing, right?
Right.
yeah.
And so it's just you don't know how to turn like it's 24-hour.
Yeah.
Gladys hates it. Like she's like, dude, you never shut it off. You're always trying to fix everything.
Well, it shows you care too, that there's more intention behind it. And it's more than like, if you're listening right now and you're like, dude, these guys are rambling about food. It's more than the food. It's
because food's
more-
important.
It's true.
Fuel.
No, it's the mindset that this. I mean, you can loop it back to what we talk about. It's the mindset that we talk about. It's not being self-centered.
Yeah.
Pretty
Like,
simple.
Sometimes you got to not think about yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, have there been times I showed up to a party where like, you didn't eat for a couple days or you're not feeling well and you got to get something in your stomach? Yeah.
100%.
Take like a small portion. Dude, we were watching, there's a show. I just watched it. I think it was on Hulu or something. It was like a survival show.
Alone?
No, It's like a
There's so many
normal
of 'em.
people survival show. So they took like whatever 10 people.
Oh, like basic.
Yeah, but it's a game. And so you have your family or your friends, whoever you want, in this control center. And then they're watching all of you. So it's a game. And the person in the wilderness has to survive, but the family or the friends are playing a game to make sure you survive. It's pretty dope. I can't remember the name of the show. It's super sick. So it's
Whoa.
like you two, like if I'm the survivalist, I pick you two, and you two are in charge of my well-being out there. So you're playing games, right?
To
So you
get
have
like
think-
supplies and
Yeah,
certain things.
so it's big
okay.
picture.
That's pretty cool.
But they did a segment on Everyone's Hungry, right? It's like day whatever 5, and they haven't had very much food. Like it's a lot of not advanced survivalists. So
Right.
they don't know how
what
to
to
catch
do.
a fish, or if they do catch a fish, how do they get a fire?
Right.
And one of the things they did was a greed challenge. And what the contestants didn't know is that they were doing it, right?
Yeah.
So instead of the group in the control room winning the prize, it was the people in the game playing. So they put a loaf of bread and like a sign that said something along the lines of basically like, take what you need. You don't know if you're the first or the last person to go.
Yeah.
It was like the free meal for everyone.
Right.
And several guys or girls walked up and read that and were like, oh, like I'm actually doing pretty good. Like I don't need this right now.
Yeah.
And they took none. And then there was some that were just like, oh, I'm going to take a quarter of this loaf. Like it was like a baguette size, right? I'm going to take a quarter of it because I know other people are doing well.
Yeah.
And then there was some that was like, oh, I'm in the middle. Like I'm not doing great, but I'm not doing bad. Let me just take what I think,
What I need.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if there's 8 people, let me take an eighth.
Yeah.
But it was really dope because then the people that didn't take anything had the chance. I forget how it worked, but to tie it all back is like it was that mindset of you're in the wilderness with nothing.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you get this opportunity to take a loaf. And it was cool to see the dynamic of the ones that took it upon themselves to be like caring and compassionate.
Yeah.
Like it's a game show,
But they
dude.
know that other people possibly need that too.
They do,
Yeah.
but they also don't know if they're last. Like, what if you were the last to go, but you don't know? 'cause-
Like everybody got a whole loaf.
Yeah.
yeah, but you don't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it was more of like a
Dang.
thing, and I forget how they rewarded it, but they did like a reward system somehow for people that didn't take any.
Right.
There was some that took more than they probably should have.
Yeah.
Selfish.
But they were also struggling.
Yeah.
So it was that mindset of like, well, I need to take care of myself.
Yeah.
And then the other ones,
Yeah, there's a form of selfishness, but it's also a game show and you're not going to die.
for sure. And but when it comes to $100,000, whatever the prize, I think it was
Yeah.
$100,000 prize. Like the greed goes into that, but
Dang.
it like ties back into what we're talking about. Of sometimes people just have it in them to, I feel, take it upon themselves
Right.
to do it in all aspects of your life, and that's something that I think is the actual point of our conversation right now, is doing things that do show like that you should put care of others at like a high regard in your life, because I feel like we wouldn't be in half the amount of trouble if we didn't have as many selfish people in the world.
Dude,
Yeah,
it
that's-
is so bad.
That's a big chunk of I can't wait till we get the blinds.
I know we're distracted in our new space.
There's a big,
this
there's a
new
big
space,
window right
the
here.
big windows and people
are just-
walk by.
I like it though, because I feel I know it sounds stupid, but I feel safer.
Oh, 'cause you can
seeing
see out?
versus
Yeah.
our
They
other
can't
room.
see in though, right?
They can't see
Right.
in.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh, okay, we're good. Versus the other room, when you'd hear like someone walk by, I'm like, what are they doing?
I think what we should do is like maybe like put it where the line is, like put the blinds
we
like
can see the
halfway up
legs.
so we can see the legs.
See the legs.
No, my frustration with every single day, man. You know, my thing right now, I mean, it's a lot of things, but my biggest thing, I'm so over people being on their phones when they're driving.
Yeah.
It makes me
I do that
lose
sometimes.
my shit.
I do that sometimes. I can't lie.
Okay.
Okay, but like, you know how selfish that is?
It is very.
It's so, because they'll slow traffic down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It literally disrupts society.
They swerve into your lane a little.
When people, and you know that they're on their phone, I do the drive by and the stare. I'm like, all right, yeah, I get you.
But they don't see you because they're on their
No,
phone.
dude, I had one guy by my shop.
Yeah.
He just like goes to where you turn
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
pull out, and he just stops and is on his phone, and I'm behind him. You know,
ridiculous.
and I honk my horn, and then he like flips me off and all this. I'm like, get off your phone.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's bad, dude.
It is.
It's bad. Like I have a little thing on my truck. I never hold it in my hand. And I try not to do anything at all.
Right.
Like if I'm at a stop, then like one hand checking something, that's it. It's never, but there's people literally driving and they're like, yes,
Yeah,
like,
that was the guy in front of me today in a Tesla. He had it on the stupid autopilot too, but I think he kept trying to, because his hands weren't on the wheel. That's why I think he was on autopilot, and his phone, and my truck's higher than him, so I can see.
Yeah.
And he was like, he had both hands on his phone, so I'm assuming it was autopilot. But I don't know if he was using his knee occasionally because he kept freaking swerving over, but not big swerves.
Just
so
little
either
ones.
his autopilot was off or his like knee was like touching the wheel. But then he would stop and go. I don't know if again it was autopilot or him like trying to do both.
Do both.
I don't know how the autopilot works, but I was getting so irritated because there were so many times where he like caused me to brake check, and then the car behind me and the car behind me. I'm trying to be better. I try not to touch my
and
phone, but I
stuff.
still
Just
do it
push
sometimes.
the mic and speak to your car.
I do that. I did a talk to text, which is why Ben's always like, "Why do you spell things so bad?" Or "What the heck
Dude.
are
Or
you
like,
trying to
dude, I'll
say?"
give my phone to. I'll give
Because
my.
I'll be like, "Hey, where are you at?" It'll be like falafels. And I'm like, "What?"
I'll get a work text where I need to respond right away, right? And I'm like, Gladys here.
Yeah, I have
And I'm
to
like,
do that too when she's in the
Type
car.
this.
Yeah.
She like read it. I'm like, read it to me, and I'm like, all right, say this.
Yeah, I'll have her do that when she's in the car
Yeah.
too.
One of the few little fights that Kayla and I get into when we're driving is that like, we'll be at a stoplight and I'm like answering something really fast. So you want me to text for you? I'm like, bro, you do the same thing. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
And then she's like, yeah, but you get mad at me, don't you?
Is that
I'm
her
like,
wife? Does she like say, "Hey, the light's green"? Like right when
Yes.
it turns green?
Yes.
Like literally, it
Yes.
turns green, and you're like,
No, it's worse. My kids do it.
you know, I'm like,
Harper does it all the time. She's like, it's green. I'm like, Harper.
I'm like, I'm 47 years old. I stand all day, my knees hurt. So when have the brake on, I bring this foot. So by the time the light turns green, I gotta get my foot to the gas pedal, and you're already telling me, and it drives me crazy.
I also
Dude,
remind her, I'm like, hey, we're in California where people run red lights all the time. So I give myself a half a second to make sure we don't get clobbered.
do you like, you want to drive?
Yeah.
I always do that too. I'm like, you want to drive?
Yeah, Harper's new thing is that she thinks she understands lights. She'll be like, Dad, it's a green light. I'm like, baby, that's a green light for the other people. She's like, well, then go. I was like, no, that's not how that works. I was like, how old are you? She's like, 3. I was like, how old am I? She's like, old. I was like, I think I know how to drive.
See, but Devin drives the van. All that, dude. Gladys will not drive the truck.
Dude, that's a
She's
good driver.
so used
Not gonna
to.
lie.
She's had a Golf her
That-
whole life.
Caitlin's
The
a good
little
driver, too.
tiny,
Joe.
Tiny
sporty
little car.
chick Golf.
Yeah.
Dude, when I'm like, you got to drive the truck. I'm like, I can't drive. I'm gonna pass out. Right? I'm so tired. She's like, I'm so scared.
My mom won't drive my dad's truck.
It's just. I'm like, it's
Ever,
just
yeah.
a bigger vehicle. Be cool, man.
When we were dating, Caitlin had like an Acura at first, and I was like, yeah, like, because we had talked about marriage. I was like, yeah, well, you'll have to, eventually when we get married and have kids, you'll have to have an SUV. She goes, I don't think I can do that. And so like one time, I forget what it was, she had to drive my truck. And so it's back when I had my F-150. She drove it. She's like, oh, this is kind of nice. And slowly our cars have gotten bigger. And now she whips around that Expedition like nobody's business.
Yeah.
And just like flips in
Yeah, and they're
reverse, parks
long.
it on one try. I'm like,
And Jordan
And we have
takes
the
like
map.
5.
Yeah. Gladys
at
wants
church,
a.
I'm trying to be respectful.
I'm like, Gladys wants a 4Runner. I'm like, cool. Are you gonna drive it though? Because it's
Yeah.
like twice. It's just as big
Yeah.
as my truck, slightly smaller, but yeah, it's
SUVs
frustrating.
are harder to drive than trucks, which is the ironic part. Like trucks you see half of what you can see half of your out.
I would always be annoyed, and I'm still I'm always annoyed. The guy like in their sports cars who back in. It's like, bitch, you don't need to back in. You know why we back in?
It's easier to get out.
Yeah.
Not even easier. It's easier
harder
to
park.
pull in.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's the one thing. Until you have a big full size truck, parking is the worst thing, regardless of where. Even at Home Depot, it's hard, dude.
Yeah, you got to learn to back
Well, you gotta
in.
have enough
And
room
why
to like
we
swing wide.
why
and come
we
in.
back in, it's tighter. You could maneuver in.
Right.
But the guys in their little fancy sports car, like I back this in. You know, I gotta look
The
good.
people that pull in forward in the big SUVs are the
Like,
ones that give everybody a bad name because they're like
Sideways.
sideways, and you're like, bro, you're taking up 2 spots. What are you doing?
Dude, this is George's venting podcast. So my other one is the dudes with the whole lifted trucks and all that, and they have a handicap thing on their thing. Those guys really piss me
But
off.
what if they walk out
No.
of the car, but you could tell they're handicapped? but
That's
they have a lifted
different,
truck.
and I respect that.
All right.
But if you're handicapped, you don't need a lifted truck where you got to step out and in.
Yeah.
Make your life better. But if you're, I get it. Here's the thing. If you're not, and you're one of those guys, and there's a lot of them who play the system, shame on you, dude.
I worked for this.
That's like the cart people who leave their carts.
I know 2 of them right now.
I know. I was thinking about them too. I worked for on a ranch when I got out of high school, and I worked for a Navy SEAL, and he was a Vietnam guy, and he was just that. I would love to tell you the story because that guy was crazy. He was like crazy, but he had a handicap sticker, and he was all jacked up. But we'd always be like, "Hey Harry, like, what's the handicap for?" He'd be like, "It's mental."
I mean, yeah.
You know, so I guess I can get one.
Yeah,
with my
For your back.
with my V8 disability.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can get a pass. Which
But you're not a
you want to
bitch.
get veteran parking.
I've kind of thought about it.
Hey, Ben.
a couple of times.
Hey, Ben.
I haven't done it.
That's the other thing. You can't because you roll jujitsu 3 times a
That's
week.
why I haven't done it. So, but there's a part
Pull
of
up
me
to the
sometimes that I'm
handicap
like,
and then go roll just.
Dude.
or like when you go somewhere that's really busy,
Like Disneyland?
Like Disneyland. If I had my handicap
No,
pass,
you gotta put
I haven't done
Yeah,
it.
but
But
then-
and you bet.
then
And the
there's
moment
like-
you do, I will judge you so hard.
Devin one time was like, "Well, just put it on my car."
This is
I got
gonna be
3 kids.
unpolitically correct. But then on the flip side, you have the person that's like 800 pounds that has a handicap sticker, and it's like, well,
yeah,
you'd
there's
stop
a reason
eating.
for that. Get that Ozempic, dude.
Yeah, if you'd stop eating so much,
600-pound life.
maybe you wouldn't need that handicap
No,
sticker.
I'm sorry. I
should
am
park and walk.
I am compassionate, and I do
You're like, we're not using that.
to a point of where you've given up on yourself. Why should I feel sorry for
Right.
you? And
There was a debate on this topic. We're gonna
Was
get
there?
canceled after this episode.
no, we're
Bro,
not.
when have we ever
Should
tried not to get canceled?
Should an overweight person have to buy 2 plane tickets?
Oh, that's right. I remember that.
Honestly,
This is a recent debate.
my grandmother was a bigger woman.
I have some in my family. Yeah,
and I feel for, like, I definitely do. For them to be more comfortable, I'm a big guy, dude. In those seats, I'm uncomfortable.
sometimes I'm uncomfortable. And
I
I'm not
would
even a big
purposely
guy.
want to buy 2 seats just to be more comfortable.
But do you think they should be required?
I don't. That's a. I.
But imagine now. Hold on. I'm gonna be honest. I haven't thought about this enough.
That's why I wanted to hit you with it.
Say they're not required. They buy 1 seat.
Yeah.
Then let's say like you and you also buy a seat in that row. So now
Yeah.
there's 3 of you.
We're not fitting in
She
that
is,
row.
that one
that
row.
person is my rest pillow.
Yeah.
If it's a female, if it's a dude, he's probably stinky.
Like
I
we're
don't
not
do
but
stinky
if-
dude.
To your
Yeah.
point, though, if you have an overweight person and then me and George, who are bigger guys,
Right.
Like I'm not.
I'm travel size.
Like I'm not a big guy, and if I'm sitting in the standard basic seats, my legs are touching the front.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
shoulders are clearly spanning the seat.
Yeah.
I'm
No.
And so
cramped,
I
and
sit
I'm
like
tiny.
Like this.
to try to make the.
You know
other
how they
person
have
comfortable.
neck pillows for your neck? I use that pillow to rest my arms like this.
Yeah, if I sit in the middle,
I don't even use it for
I
my
sit
neck.
like this,
Yeah.
and I'm not a big dude. I like
Yeah, we sat next to each other.
Right.
On to Texas.
right, and I'll
there-
sit forward too. I'll sit
Yeah.
forward and like this.
Oh, dude, my favorite time is when I'm on a plane and the whole row's open, and
Oh,
I
yeah,
always
bro.
try to be the last person.
On the plane?
Yeah, because it's assigned seating.
Oh, I try to always get on the first.
Don't be the little bitch who's like running and cutting the line. It ain't gonna change anything unless you're on Southwest
like
or
sitting
Spirit.
I like sitting down. And I like getting an overhead spot for my
Oh,
bag.
see, I flew
Because I don't check bags in. I only.
I
carry
also,
on.
I'm that kind of
Still,
person
but
that
even-
like I'm anxious until I'm sitting in my seat and my stuff is like until then I'm like, all right.
For me, I don't like being there and waiting and waiting and waiting. And I somewhat claustrophobic in a way of I don't like being strapped down to stuff. So being in that thing, it's weird. I'm super weird about that. But once I'm the flight, I'm like asleep.
really
Like as we're taking off, I'll fall asleep so quick.
You guys didn't answer the question.
oh, should they be required to?
Yeah.
I don't think there should. I think that should.
Putting
There
you on the
should
spot.
be a thing when you're purchasing your ticket. If you are this, we would recommend purchasing a second seat,
But not a force.
not a force.
I think
don't
they
think
should.
anything should be forced, but for the convenience of other people,
Yeah.
and you would think going back to being considerate of other people, you would do that. And
But
it should
we already
be
know they're not going to be considered.
Yeah.
I don't want to say they. I'm saying like as a whole, us people.
I think there's a compromise. They get a half off on that seat.
See, that's okay.
That okay, yes. I think they should.
On the extra
Because if
seat.
my bag is slightly too big to fit
You have
in
to
that
pay-
stupid little
you have to pay
square,
money.
I have to pay.
Exactly.
And that's okay. Well, if my freaking bag doesn't fit in there, your ass doesn't fit in that seat, paying.
That's a good point.
Sorry.
Let's meet in the middle.
Yeah.
Let's
So-
meet in the middle. Half price off the
price.
second
That's what I'm
seat.
saying.
I would be like,
I'm
yeah.
an in the middle guy.
I am.
I
Yeah.
think there's a, but then it opens the topic of like, well, what's overweight? I think if you are required because of your body and your natural self, if you have to take up a seat and a half, I don't think it's fair to the other person that's paying the full price. But I also don't think it's fair to the person to say, no, you're required to buy two.
Yeah.
So I think there should be, but then the
There's
airlines
a
lose money, right? Like
compromise.
it's like freaking Disneyland. For our kids to get into Disneyland, they don't have a ticket for a kid. You pay full price.
Right.
Well, you're being greedy at that
Oh,
point.
that's like going to Korean barbecue and all those places. I'm like, my daughter is going to eat a little and they're going to charge me $30 for her.
There needs to be a compromise in the sense of what is right and what's fair. Like that debate, that question, I've watched so many different there's mean people. I think it's, like if you are overweight, whatever, like if you want to be that way and unhealthy like that, whatever. I don't think you should be required to pay for 2 tickets, but I do think you should pay for a ticket and a half. But then the airline loses that whole seat.
I definitely have sympathy. It is somewhat of a mental illness. I truly do, but you also got to take responsibility.
Yeah, they start putting bariatric seats on airplanes.
But you can't though, because then it goes back to the weight limit. And that's why they have the argument for the bags.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
If you're a certain weight,
well, the bags don't matter; they'll just stick them underneath. So that's not.
But the weight is like
The weight
hey,
of the whole plane.
Oh yeah.
if you're technically, if that plane can only fit 1,000 pounds,
Oh,
300
I didn't
per
even
seat,
think about that.
but you weigh 500, like why? And now you're gonna stuff another person in there.
I got it. Have 2 seats, 2 rows. One's just a bigger seat,
That's what I
and
said.
that's for the big boy.
They have to have bariatric.
That would be
But
so
then
much easier to do.
But then you're now discriminating.
Well, not
Well,
only
then
that,
you can't
the
have your
airline
cake and eat it too.
The airline loses money because now they have
It all goes back
one
to the
massive seat instead of
it all
2
goes
seats.
back to the airline losing money, which we all know they're not going to
They're
do
not
that.
going to lose money.
But then we want to go full circle, and if there's rules in place for certain things, ADA, handicap access, we businesses
Who you have? Yeah.
we're
Right.
getting punished right now for something that I think is a little crazy. It would be so different if we were just blatant and disregarded ADA compliance, but the fact that they can go and find things that the normal person doesn't know about, like they have those things in place.
Hey guys, this is Jordan with Good Dude, Good Dad. Quick break. I just want to thank our sponsors. The first one being BioPro. The link is down below. Use code GDGD. Ben and I have been on for about a month now, and it goes under your tongue in the morning. There's a night version to help you sleep a little bit better. But I tell you what, I get home, and for the first time in a while, I actually have some energy to hang out with my kids, to play, to get my workout in, and the best part of all, to hang out with my wife at the end of the night and not feel utterly exhausted. So go check out the link down below. Next, Hidden House Coffee. Go to hiddenhousecoffee.com, get a bag or 2 or 10, and use the code GDGD for a discount on that. I want to say thank you to Rode for all this amazing equipment and the sound quality. And last but not least, go check out gooddudegooddad.com. Get yourself some sweet merch. Sign up from our emails. And please like, share, and subscribe. It's all because of you guys that we are growing. We're excited to bring on more guests and serve you the best that we can. So remember, be a good dude, be a good dad. Get back to the show.
That question was not even on our radar for today, but it just goes back to the topic of
Well, back to your thing where you're saying about the Disneyland. I was listening to an interesting podcast talking about how Americans, like the American society, doesn't have a good transition from young men to men.
Yeah.
And they're like, he was like, I legitimately went out of my way to try to see if there's, as a whole, America has a age where they consider a young man a boy turning into a man. And he's like, nobody does. He's like, the only consistency that I could find were like airlines in Disneyland, which said if you're a fully grown adult at like 3 years old.
Yeah.
Because that's when they make you pay for a full ticket.
Yeah.
He's like,
Well, isn't
everybody
it
else,
free up to then?
He's like,
Up to the end,
yeah.
yeah.
He was like, to alcohol is 21, driver's license is 16, voting is 18. He's like, there's no consistency about like at what age a boy becomes a man. And the
I mean, some boys
the
become men
detriment.
at 12 and some become men at,
some never
40.
become men,
Yeah.
you know?
Yes.
That's so true, dude.
I know. They say like I've heard someone say that was like with age comes wisdom. It's like no, sometimes age just comes alone. You know, and it's like I feel like
I think experience in life.
yeah. Well, I think
is-
that with some men. You know, with like age comes manliness or like what it mean. No, sometimes age just comes alone. You're just a giant 70-year-old child.
Yeah.
Well, I can think of
And
a couple of those
I know.
guys
I
right
was gonna
now.
say I
actually.
know a couple of those.
Yeah,
right.
I know.
Where it's like I would
few of
not
those.
consider you. I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, that's a man. I'd be like, oh, you're
In size,
a
yes, but
wrinkly child is really what
Yeah.
you are.
That's sad.
It is sad.
the world.
Well, I have no idea where we just went with all this.
Cancel culture. But
No, it
just
goes.
kidding.
It's
That's
all
not.
just,
That's just real shit. You know what? It's real stuff that people don't talk about because they're too scared. And
It all relates
care.
back to selflessness, though. All of it that we're talking
100%.
about. Like, to sum it up before I ask you a question, if I were to be 500 pounds with my mindset, I would 1,000,000%, one, buy another ticket, for myself on an airline. Two, I would think of those things because that's just my brain.
Right.
But that's just not the
But
world
that's
we
the
live in.
difference. Your mindset wouldn't get yourself.
I
get
know,
to
but I'm saying
500.
if I was that, I would go out of my way to buy another ticket because
And there are people like that. We're
There
just
are.
talking about the exception.
Yeah.
we're cattle. We're not trying to single people out. We're talking about as a
did
category.
generalize.
Hey,
of
I'm
wrong.
not a skinny dude. I'm working on it. BioPro sponsorship. What's up?
I don't even know if they're sponsoring us anymore.
I gotta figure that out.
I got a
I'm
free
almost
night
out.
one.
Yeah. George, we're gonna ask you a question.
Oh no.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
I kind of wanna. I don't want to spend too much time on it though. But you've been going to church,
Yeah.
and from our first episode with you, you weren't going to church.
No.
Very, very first. Let's kind of just talk through that. Like, how's it been?
It's been good. Like I said, I haven't been because work stuff. Sometimes twice I almost went by myself, just because the girls. One was sick, the other, they had to take care of. But then just work stuff too, and so I haven't been in like 2-3 weeks.
yeah.
But it's been good, man. Like it's been good. I think it's good for a lot. From what I'm truly hearing too, I feel like a lot of people are going to church right now that you wouldn't expect to go. There is definitely this revival of people, and it's a good thing, you know. Does it mean like I've changed the way I think about all that stuff? No.
Yeah.
Like we had a conversation last week about that. Do I feel good when I go? Yeah. The people good? Yeah. Conversations are good. Is it good for my family? I think so. It's nothing but positive.
Yeah.
There's no, especially at Mesa, there's no awkwardness. It's all welcoming. Yeah, man. It's been great. Look forward to it. It actually makes the day better too. It's weird. I have noticed since I haven't gone, and the times we did go, like the rest of the day, it's just like this easy, mellow, hang with the fam, go grab lunch, go somewhere and walk around, make the day of it. And the times I haven't gone, it's one because of work stuff, and so the day is kind of chaotic.
Yeah.
Which on Sundays I tend to shut everything off. Like I don't even have my phone. It's funny. We're at like Bass Pro, and I leave my phone in the car because it's Sunday. I don't take my phone with me. And but it was like later in the day, and Bass Pro's huge, and Gladys and River, and they're like wandering around. It's like 30 minutes. And I'm like, where are they at? I'm like, I'm not going to go walk around looking for them. So I go to my car to get my phone to text them. And Gladys like walking up. She's like, where were you? I'm like, I didn't have my phone on me. Like I left in the car. She's like, oh, we're in line. Like, anyways, regardless. But yeah, Sunday is like my shut off to the world day. And unfortunately, work gets caught up, and sometimes I just can't enjoy that day the way I want to. And it is what it is. But no, I've been like I said, like it's been good, and it's been good there. Like it's I have no desire to go right now to. You know, a lot of people want something new. They're like, oh, let me go try this spot out. Or
like
let me go try this spot out, shop around. And I'm like, I mean, if something's working, why do you need to do that? I think people just sometimes do that because a part of them doesn't know what they really want. And they're searching for something. And it's like FOMO, right? It's like, is it going to be better at this church? Mm-hmm. Are the people going to be cooler? Is the music going to be cooler? It's like, if that's what you're going for, then that's probably not the right reason, right? I mean, to an extent.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to hear something positive, and hopefully the person saying it is doing a great job, right? And I feel like most churches, a majority of it is that, you know? And of course you want to, should be, and you want to be somewhere comfortable. So, I mean, going there, we felt extremely comfortable the first time, and it just kept us going. So
I think it's actually a big problem with, and this might sound hypocritical of me because we changed churches, is that I think a big problem with Christian culture is people just church hopping all the time.
But you didn't hop. You were with your old church for how long?
4 or 5 years.
Yeah, dude, that's not hopping. Hopping is like the culture that what happened to Mesa when we were Newport Mesa. Mm-hmm. The second we got kicked out of a building, you know, the people that were quote unquote loyal to the church, to the pastors, they're like, well, wait, you don't have this building anymore. I'm not going to go jump into a hotel lobby. Or wait, I'm not going to go help build a new.
Were they originally on Airway?
No, we were on Fair in the 55.
Oh, okay.
Where Vanguard University is?
Yeah.
That whole corner across from the fairgrounds, that was our church.
Oh.
We built all that as a church.
Sick.
Like, we built all of it. And they own the land, we own the buildings.
We'll let it ride at that.
I'm a little passionate about that. I went to Vanguard. I'm a Vanguard alum, but anyways, that's hopping. Is like when things got, or we have a lot of dope, quote unquote, like bougie churches in Orange County now, right? Or maybe the aesthetic of one is
guys.
Yeah. Where the aesthetic of one is nicer, or there's a bunch of young trendy families at one, so that's where you want to go, but you're not being spiritually fed. Like for me, church, because I'm so far along in my spiritual journey, church for me is not about, what looks cool or what sounds good or what amenities do they have for me and my kids. It's more like, am I being fed here spiritually to make me a better man, a better Christian, a better father, a better human, or am I going for clout?
And I think that's what I was trying to say. It's not about who has the best coffee, aka Mesa has it now. So
we do,
or what looks cooler. But it's sad to say that's
the
how
culture,
the world is, man.
Yeah,
it's at Hidden House, all your employees, they all go to church. It's crazy. They all go to different churches too. You would think they'll everybody would let's communicate, or here. Yeah. But no, and it goes back to that I just like it here, man.
Yeah.
And this works for me.
Yeah. I will say, if you are, if you're looking for a church, I do find that it is very important to make sure that you're not necessarily shopping, but you have a checklist and their theology makes sense, right? They're actually preaching God's word, not their God's word with their word. They're preaching God's word. If you go to a church and the pastor doesn't even reference the Bible outside of the one little verse he's trying to use, for me, it's a red flag, right? It's
100%.
Are you on the pastor's agenda? But when you go to a church and you see that pastor flipping around, here's the verse of the day, this is what we're going over, but I'm going to obviously give you evidence in this book, in that book, in this time frame of the Bible, this time frame of the Bible, and points back to God's word, then you're good, right? Or you can go to a church, pastor still does that, but they're so legalistic with a lot of the other things they do that, they're telling you, hey, that cap's not white. it's actually this shade, and you're like, well, no, dude, they're both white,
Yeah.
like, you know. But they try to manipulate that, you know, that happens in Christian culture a lot, where they'll take something and they'll like manipulate it. So it's like driving home this one point, but the whole point was something different.
Well, they take the one verse and a lot of times I see they take it out of context.
Yeah.
And then they twist it to fit the needs of what their agenda is. And I was saying, we might be hypocritical, but I honestly think that we did this transition to Mesa Church in the right way, where it's like, you invited us. We actually originally said no.
Yeah.
We were like, nope, we're happy where we're at. We prayed about it. Then we were like, both of us separately go, let's check it out. We took over a month going to services back and
you
forth
went to
between where we
several,
were. Yeah. We made sure our kids liked it. I looked at the theology that they had behind it. I luckily was fortunate enough to have like a peek behind when you guys were going through the pastoral process. You and I had a lot of discussions because you were, playing things out in your mind. So I got to hear, without even going there or being asked to go there at the time, the backstory behind everything. And then meeting the pastor separately. We took it wasn't a hop. It was like a debated decision that we did together along with prayer. And that's why we're there.
Yeah.
It's funny because when you told me, I was like, the first, you're like, hey, come over to our church. I was like, dude, I'm sure your church is rad, but unless God tells us to leave, we're not leaving our church. Like, we're set. Because I was heavily involved. And then it changed. And that was, I'm so grateful. I still love our old church. Still love the people there. I think they're doing amazing things. I'm so stoked where we're at.
Yeah.
Not only that, Caitlin hates driving anywhere outside of San Clemente. And we're in San Clemente going all the way to Irvine, bro. So that's a thing.
Let me ask you, because I was having this conversation with like the guys, right? And I always play devil's advocate,
Right.
regardless of what side.
Yeah.
And like how you say, like, oh God, like we pray, and like, and this is strictly genuine. This isn't like
No,
I don't, like, and we've had this conversation before, and it's funny, like, it's not that I'm arguing about it, because when I'm talking with the other guys, and you know who, and they want to question all this stuff, and I'm like, well, you're basing that off religion instead of faith. There's two different things.
Right.
There's religion, there's faith. Because if it was based off religion, then, not like I said, I was Catholic. Like, think about all the like just that alone and all the stuff about that. Right. You don't think if it was just about religion, half those people wouldn't be Catholic anymore?
Right.
Because of that, it's like beyond that.
Right.
So that was one thing, and with like Christianity, I feel it's the one where it's very somewhat what's the word I'm looking for? Contradictory. I would say with most religions it is, but that's a whole nother. But my thing is, when you said God pointed us in this direction.
Yeah.
When you say that, and
what I mean by that?
Yeah. Like, what is it you mean by that?
That's a great question.
That's actually a fantastic question. So, one, I think there is not a cut and dry way that I think God speaks to everyone. So I'll start with that caveat. I think everyone kind of hears from him a little differently. And a lot of it is, I heard it explained this way, like if you're in Bass Pro Shop and I'm with 1 billion people and my son is halfway across the room and I go, Hudson, he's going to know it's me.
Yeah.
Versus a bunch of other people yelling, Hudson.
Yeah.
Why? Because we've spent the time together with each other, learning each other and knowing each other. So I think part of it is, how do you know when God's telling you something? You've put the time in spending in his word and spending time with him. I know that's very nuanced and you could be like a bunch of different break-offs, but this is just I heard this recently and I thought it was really good. You spent the time to get to know his voice. So when you hear his voice or you feel a prompting.
But you don't actually hear a voice.
That's debatable.
So there's people that do hear audible voices. So they say. Is that true? I don't know. I'm not them. I'll
Yeah,
never
yeah,
know.
yeah.
You know, that's
Yeah.
between them. I heard there's this fantastic podcast that we had with our friend Ryan Miller. He recently had on the guy that was the head of the Church of Satan in South Africa. He was literally the head. He was in like 3 stories below ground in a room with no lights on, about to do a satanic ritual that he had done a million different times to do something. He was in that room. He was lighting all the candles. All of a sudden, he said Jesus showed up in the room. Literally, he's like, the room became so bright I couldn't see. I fell flat on my face.
Which is biblical.
And was like terrified, but also like felt so at peace. And he's like, who are you? He's like, I am who I say I am. I'm the great I am. And he was like, and this guy had studied scripture in the past before he ended up going to Satanism. He was actually a Catholic that became an atheist, that became a Satanist, and then the head of the South African Church of Satan. He was their spokesperson. He said that Jesus walked into that room and yeah. You can listen to that whole podcast. It was amazing.
Yeah, I kinda wanna
He
listen
says
to it.
now that him and Jesus he goes out and prays, and he says he hears an audible voice. That's what he hears. I don't hear an audible voice. I haven't. That's just me. And I was like, for a while, I was like, is that weird? Is that normal? I've heard pastors say too. They're like, hey, I don't hear an audible voice. It's a prompting. For me, I'll feel something, like something will come into my mind that I would not have brought there otherwise. There's like an idea or a thought or something that I would not have necessarily come up with. I also, biblically, usually when I get something, I'll look for it biblically so that there's backing, so that I know I'm not just making things up. The other one is I also let the circumstance figure itself out too, knowing that, believing that God, and if my theology is off, someone can come after me. That's all right. Promptings. So Ben invited us to the church. We said no, right? We had no desire to. Over the several months leading up, I was like, hey, it would have to be like things would have to drastically change in order for us to even consider going to a different place. During that time, things that probably shouldn't have changed. I don't want to get into it because I don't want to, badmouth any churches.
Yeah.
But there was a bunch of different changes that I was like, that's weird. Okay, I'm thinking maybe we should change churches. What I'm going to not do, though, is I'm not going to tell Caitlin because she's clearly happy, and I want to see if she wants to change churches. And I literally was praying. I was like, God, you're going to have to put that on her heart that she wants to consider changing churches and going to a church that's way out of the way, that she said she would never drive that far to any church. She came to me separately and goes, hey, I feel like we're supposed to leave this church and go to another church, possibly Ben's. So I was like, okay, well, then let's test that. Let's go. Let's check their theology. Let's check the kids. Let's do all this different stuff. Let's both pray about it separately. And if we feel like this is the place we're supposed to be at, we'll go there. If we're not, we won't. So we tried a couple different churches, went to their church several different times, and then together, separately, and then together praying about it, felt like, yo, this is where we're supposed to go. Yeah. So that's a lot. It's not always how, but in a lot of times in my life, that's how I know God moves.
Yeah, no, just hearing that, like,
that's a lot of basically there's
and that's what
a lot of coincidences that you're like, that's a lot of coincidences.
So that's what I was gonna bring up, but I think that's where the faith part comes in.
Yeah,
and you're trusting that you saying, hey, I'm gonna pray for you to give her the sign without me telling you,
right?
And as that happens, I think that's what builds your faith more, right?
Correct.
Well, but there's also times when it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So that also that's another
because it could be technically a coincidence, like
100%.
Yeah.
But there's also times where it's like, okay, I feel like this is supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, maybe God's part. No, and it doesn't. And I'm like, okay, well, there you go.
All right. Also remember, God's calling is going to be drastically different per person, right? In per circumstance, like Jordan said.
Yeah,
but like,
yeah, no.
I've also never heard an audible voice of God, and I know that's normal. But to reference what Jordan said about the satanic dude, it's biblical. What he said. So unless he's manipulating a situation and using things to whatever, right? Yeah. Like no man is going to ever see like Jesus in his image. Like it is biblical where he states like he comes, it's a light, right? Because we're not we're not essentially, for lack of better terms, pure enough. Or,
Yeah.
but you can see an image of him, but to like show up in a room with the bright light, that is like a biblical like principle like it says that he comes in with like a light that you can't even see him. It will like hurt your eyes.
There's actually in a lot of Muslim countries right now, there's a lot of actually in Iran specifically, there's a lot of Iranians getting baptized into Christianity because either in dreams or visions, or they say like they're like, we're not sure what we're in. This man in white keeps showing up and saying that he's the son of God, and he's just like radical Muslim Iran.
And what the saddest part about that is Iran's the biggest country of Sharia law.
Yeah.
And those people, technically, Muslim culture is they need to kill those people.
Right.
It's the saddest stuff.
Right.
It's so. I think this is the kind of things that discourage people so much. Like I was having a conversation with the guys too, and he was telling me about a friend who, and it all goes back to, like he was telling me about his friend who's like, oh, I don't believe in, like, if that's the case, why did my friend who was like this good person and all this, why did he have to die when he wasn't supposed to? And I'm like, hey man, I had a kid who died at 2.5 and she wasn't supposed to. That's just life. Like, we don't know.
Right.
I'm like, this is the thing, the whole thing of free will and making the choices and all that. It's just like, you can't have free will and just expect everything to be perfect.
Also turn out amazing.
Yeah, the way it is what it is. That's just life. And I'm like, and I was thinking about that. I'm like, I don't think your friend's mad at God. I think he's mad at something. I think he's using that as an excuse to not do certain things, or maybe he's just discouraged. And for me, it's like, I was raised Catholic. I baptized Catholic, First Communion, drifted away, as you know, and then I Christian, was baptized Christian. I'm all these things. Like, I'm everything. Like, that stuff doesn't go away, you know, right? Just because I'm not going to church or I'm just questioning everything doesn't mean that's lost or whatever. But it is the way, you know, and that's the other thing they say too, is like, I have friends say, well, they say if I don't get baptized, I'm not going to go to heaven. And we had this conversation the other day. I'm like, yeah, man, they say a lot of things. Like, I don't know what to tell you, dude. I'm like, man has created these things and said these things. Like, realistically, we don't know, right? And that's where faith comes in. You got to have faith and belief in that and hope that if this is true, then be the best you can be. And then when you're at the pearly gates, you did enough to go up to the pearly gates, right?
I heard
or go through them.
These group of pastors were talking about it. They're like, rightfully so, that people say it's like Christianity, like as a whole, is the most unorganized religion of any religion. Like every other religion, basically, like Hindu, there's not like many different facets of Hindu. I mean, they all relatively believe the same thing. You know, like Muslims, same thing. It's not like there's some discrepancies, but they don't really like differentiate. Like he's like, there's not. He's like, Christianity is the most divided religion that ultimately believes the same thing, but there's like so many different facets. And he was like, it was really cool to see, like, right after when Charlie Kirk died, he's like, everyone was like, hey, Christianity, like as the Big C Christians, the Big C church needs to unite. And he's like, and then it feels like it just fell off right off the bat. And now it's like everyone's back at each other's throats again about who's right about the dumb little things.
Well, that's stupid. Anybody who believes, and I might get canceled for this too, anybody who believes Donald Trump's a Christian is retarded. I mean, not retarded, but just naive. Yeah. Like, he's not, all right? He doesn't believe in that stuff. I'm sorry, people, but if you think he does, okay, but he doesn't. Mm-hmm. He might say he does, and he might say a lot of things, but I don't, deep down in my heart, know that that man does not have any form of that he follows or believes in.
I think, and this is me, like looking at his, now we're on Donald Trump, looking at like the different things he's talked about over like the last couple of years, I think he has become more spiritually inclined.
There's a difference,
And
though.
I know, but I'm saying I believe, I don't know if he's a Christian or not, and it doesn't matter to me, to be honest.
Yeah. It shouldn't matter to anybody.
I think he falls under the category of God-fearer. So I think he actually believes that there is a God, and he's fearful of him in a healthy fear.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think that he probably thinks, and I saw an interesting interview where he was like, I don't think that's going to get me to heaven.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
I don't think he thinks he's able to be saved at this point, which is almost a sadder statement than anything.
I don't believe that either.
Really?
Yeah, no, I don't believe.
Right.
I don't. To think that we're all sinners, dude. That's where I go back to the contradictory. It's like, I did. So you say that Jesus died on the cross for all our sins, right? So we're good, technically.
If you believe in it.
If you believe in it.
Yes. And have accepted it into your heart. That's the big difference, is actually believing in it.
Yeah.
In
but the
knowing.
thing, and this is the part where this is where, and it's not quite, it's just, I stay open-minded. We have to understand that we truly do not know.
No, we're not. Oh, we don't.
Yeah.
That's why you have faith.
Yeah.
And so, like, to the guys or to other people that don't think faith is a real thing, like,
Well, that's naive too.
it is very naive.
Yeah.
And to kind of like sum a lot of this up is, I was trying to find right now where the Bible talks about the light that he was referring to, the Satanist dude, and how like no eye can see. Because I didn't want to butcher that, but it says it in a couple different places. But it's basically, it's not that anyone cannot see him. It's he comes with a light because our hearts are not pure, but we will one day be able to see. But there is that's why I didn't want to butcher it, because there's other parts in the Bible where he does talk about like he will appear to people, right? But like in a dream or an image or whatever. But the audible voice is a different thing. The audible vision is a different thing. I think it just all comes back to like faith and knowing.
Yeah.
And the two most important principles of Christianity, if you truly believe in God, is obviously you have to fully believe in him, right? And it's to love God and love people. Those are like the two big takeaways that I could say that is what matters. And who I follow is different. Yeah, whatever. Go ahead. Go.
I'm sorry. There's this really cool spot in Mark 9:21. There's this boy was like demon possessed, and like this father brought his son to Jesus, and he's like, Jesus is asking him. He's like, clearly the dad brought the son to be healed because he had known Jesus had been healing people, and so he had some level of faith to bring his son all that way to meet Jesus, right? Like the whole point, like he wouldn't have just showed up just to show up. Like he really brought him there for a reason. And then he goes like, so how long has your son been like this? He said, from a child, he would often throw himself into the fire or water to try to kill him. But if you can do anything, take pity on us and help us. And then Jesus goes like, if I can, everything is possible for the one who believes. And the dad's reply was super cool. He goes, immediately the boy's father exclaimed, I do believe, help my unbelief. And it was like that phrase, I do believe, help my unbelief, I feel like is a huge part of, at least for me, like that faith walk where it's, it doesn't mean that like I'm every single time, like I'm just rock solid. But I do have that belief in my heart. And it's like, all right, God, like I believe you're there, but help my unbelief. Because I acknowledge that too.
Oh no, dude! When we were camping, and don't get me, I think this is good conversation. I think it's a good conversation for this podcast.
Yeah.
Because a majority of the guys you do bring on are me. I'm not. It's not that I'm questioning it. I'm just asking certain questions.
I love the questions.
And I think you should have talks like it. But even when we were camping, my last camping trip, dude, I'm like, I gotta go for a walk. I was in the middle of nowhere, dude. Took my shirt off, just sitting there. And it was the first time I ever like spoke out and asked. And I'm like, if you're really out there, if you're truly who you say you are, or, you know, I was just like, and I was like speaking this.
Yeah.
And it's like middle of the day, shirt off, half naked. It was awesome. It was like, never take my shirt off. And I'm just sitting in this, around these mountains and just, you know, nobody around. Like the people, like the guy, like everybody was like a mile away. And I literally spoke out and I wasn't expecting to hear anything. I wasn't expecting anything. I just don't have those, but it was the first time like I like physically talked and talked to God, whoever, right? And it's just like, if this is what you want for me, then I'm here. I'm letting it go. You do whatever. And now, like, I have no expectations. Has anything happened yet? No. Maybe in other people's eyes, well, like, you went to church, but this was after, like, and then you're still doing this, and they'll use that, like, oh, see, he's doing that. I'm like, okay, yeah, the coincidence, whatever. But like when I talk to you guys, and it's just like, and I ask, like, even Jimmy, it's like he talks about that one moment that changed his whole life. And the majority of people who literally had that moment, it changed. I've just never had that moment before.
Not everyone has that though.
And I know.
Yeah.
And I understand that. And I'm not expecting it. I've had moments that could be that, but I don't know if that's what it is, because if it was that, I wouldn't question it.
For sure. But then you also, in the argument of that, if there's too many coincidences to be coincidences, it's no longer a coincidence. So like you having that moment, like on that mountain with God talking out loud, right? Then you did go to church.
Yeah. Well, that was my church for that day.
But then check this out. Just in what you've told us, and I'm not trying to sell you. I'm just
No.
I'm speaking things out loud that have happened. You told us that the first day you went in, you had like crazy anxiety.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't want to be there. This was weird. Gladys was with you.
I wasn't weird because of church.
No, but just life. Like but that is what we would say is, I don't want to get down this road because this will take forever, but spiritual warfare.
Yeah.
Going into a place that you know is holy and pure and could have something of value and benefit to you spiritually. Yeah. That adds weight to you, right? Whether you know it or not, whether you think it's happening or not, it's spiritual warfare is a real thing. So you guys go into church, you look over, Gladys is crying, like you're feeling emotional, and then you guys scurried out, right? And then you told us that you talked about it later, and then you said that she at one point told you, you know, I pray for you like every night.
Yeah.
And I think you said something along the lines of like, I didn't even know she like prayed.
Yeah.
So that, again, we could say, yes, that could be a coincidence. But when you have all these things that are constantly happening, for me, logically, if I even take my faith outside of it, if I'm thinking as like a logical human, I am logical enough to know that coincidences are impossible to always happen.
I truly don't believe Gladys doing that was a coincidence. I don't think any of that.
No, but in the moment and in the context, when you're seeking, or not even seeking, but being open. I think open is the key. Those things happening, and then you going back and, again, not trying to sell you, but those things, when you look at it, I would say, oh, yeah, that's God working in their lives.
Dude, I have so many things like that happen in my life where, like, you could say, "Oh, that was God. That was God.
For
that
sure."
was God.
But to people that don't believe in that, they'll like the guys, right? They'll refer to that. Oh no, that's just coincidence, man.
Yeah, well, that's me playing devil's advocate with
for sure.
But that's not. I think, honestly, truthfully, like really, I want something to happen.
Yeah,
I want to feel something that knocks me on my ass, and I'm like, whoa.
That you can't deny it.
I can't deny it.
It's so undeniable that you can't. Yeah.
I just haven't. I've had so much that my grandmother, dude, I went to her like to an exit. I've seen all kinds of crazy shit, dude.
Yeah.
Like I've seen it in her home. Like I feel things, but it's just not something that is like knocked me off my feet.
Yeah.
Like, wow, okay, and like I said, man, maybe that's just who I am.
Yeah.
And where I'm at, and I'll probably never do it. It doesn't mean that I've given up on it.
For sure.
It's just.
But you being even open is
I'm
when
always
things can
open.
happen. You
that
know
was
what
my
I mean?
thing too. I was talking with the guys too. I'm like, you have to be open to everything. The moment you decide like, I'm stuck in these are where I'm at, then you've given up on
sure.
life.
Yeah.
You have given up on the life that your life could be because you've chosen to live only this.
Or to believe this one thing, but you're believing in it.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is the difference between openness, Christians who actually are just trying to be good humans.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third is like, you got to, like, people forget, like, you're believing in it.
Yeah.
Like the atheist, Satanist
Atheists
dude.
believe in atheism.
That you have to have faith
you have
in
a
it.
belief in
Everyone
something.
believes in something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just what you want to believe in.
Yeah.
And I think what gives Christians the bad rap is like how polarizing it can be. And I've grown up in that. Like I thought at one point in my life, I had to think these certain things.
Yeah. And I think that's the heartbreaking part. I see these young kids who I feel like the guilt gets to them a lot, dude. And
Yeah.
I feel for them. I'm like, you don't have to feel
Well,
guilty.
guilt's going to get you regardless. But
Yeah.
if you
for little things, dude, for like little things.
yeah, that's why if you love God and you love people, those
Yeah.
are like the two big things.
It was
if
like-
I'm loving God and I love people, like how can you, like I can disagree with you,
Yeah, yeah.
but if I'm truly loving God and if I fully believe that we are all created in God's image, how can I hate you because I don't
you're
agree with you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I had to figure that out for myself as I've gotten older. But when I was younger, it's like, oh no, if they don't believe this certain thing, like I didn't hate them, but I had a hard time being able to be like, oh, like I see your point. Versus now I'm like, hey man, I don't agree with you. I'm not going to judge you, but I'm going to still love on you.
Yeah.
And that's what I've had to like realize in my own life, you know.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, there's a big difference between hate and disagreeing. 'Cause you can disagree. I mean, we're called to live a certain way as Christians, which means we don't necessarily agree with everything that everyone does, and that's okay to not agree with them. But to hate on people,
Yeah,
is another one. I mean, I think there's certain things that I don't know. I'm not gonna go down that road. Anyway, I love the fact that you had that open prayer moment out in the woods.
Oh, dude, I wish you guys could have been there like a fly on the wall. The struggle I had to open my mouth and say those words, I was fighting it so hard. It was a freaking challenge, dude.
Yeah.
And like it wasn't that I was like scared of anybody seeing me or anything.
Yeah.
It was pure vulnerability for myself, which I'm very vulnerable towards other people. Like I show my vulnerabilities, but when it comes to me personally and myself, it's hard. And it was the one moment, like I was like, dude, for a good 15, 20 minutes, like it's making me emotional. But for literally, I could not say those. I was holding it in so much. Yeah. I had ants crawling up my shit and like crawling up my legs and everything. But it was like that one thing. I'm just like, it was like, you're going to do it. And it's a form of like letting go. Right. Mm-hmm. And it's just, it's funny how much I fought it.
Yeah.
But that's when you know it's something that's real.
I know.
And again, whether people want to believe in that or not is like, it's God's, and again, you know, for guys that don't like they're going to challenge this, right? Like, but God's timing, God's voice, and God's direction are very real, and they're very different for every single person. Mm-hmm. You know, like some people to Jordan would probably say like his stroke and all the stuff that happened to him since was coincidence, right? Mm-hmm. Or he's just a miracle. Okay.
But that's if you're saying like, oh, God saved like all that. Then they'll say the coincidence.
Yeah.
I think just that's just life, man.
Yeah, but there's something controlling that.
Okay, but all right.
Yeah.
If you think that, then what's the point of free will?
Because that's in God's design. It's very clear that we have free will. Mm-hmm. He gave us that.
Yeah. But he's
And
controlling all these other things?
Yeah, because I think if you fully believe in something and he chooses to be able to save or heal or...
But you can't pick and choose.
I can't, no. Can he? I think he can do whatever he wants.
You
Personally.
pick and choose every single day the moment you wake up. You pick and
I
choose
do,
to
yes,
want to read
but
that
I can't
Bible.
pick and choose
You
if I
pick and-
save his life or not. That's what I'm referring to. I'm referring to him like being healed in a way. Like I'm not talking about picking up and choosing a cup. Like that's drastically different than saying
I know,
like God healed him.
But okay, then what about all the like the whole? If that's the case, then
I know what you're
what about-
asking. I don't know why.
I'm not trying to argue. I'm just
No,
like
yeah.
what, like for non-believers
Yeah.
who instantly heal from something and all that.
I think they just get healed.
Yeah,
I don't have an answer for that.
but
I
that's
don't
what
know.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like,
Maybe that's, I don't know. Maybe that's God trying to get their attention, and they refuse to, because you also have the opportunity whether or not to acknowledge that. So you have a radical healing. That's God going like, and you choose to go, F off, you know.
okay, but what say like
But I don't. Again, I don't know, dude. That's
And I don't think we're intended to know.
No, I know.
Like I
know.
don't have these answers.
But that's the part where that's the part where people got to just stop trying to argue with people about it
yeah.
and just we're not here we're just having a discussion.
Well,
It's
that's-
like everybody stop trying to prove something and just live your life the way you feel you need to, and stop putting so much pressure on you to be this, like, I think we put so much pressure on ourselves to be this person that we stop living the way we truly want to. And I'm not saying for the good or bad. I'm just saying in general. I think people, like, it eats. I've seen people where this thing eats at them. It like literally destroys their life, man. And it's sad and it breaks my heart. Like, it breaks my heart to see them struggle so much with this thing that we're all born, we could say, children of God. Like, as Catholics, we're baptized pretty much within a year that
Yeah.
we're born.
Christening.
Yeah. To where Christians, once again, it's your choice.
Yeah.
Hence again, born again Christian. Hence
to
again,
choose to
why
do it,
I
yeah.
went and got baptized as a Christian, even though I was baptized as a Catholic.
Yeah.
Right? We're also indoctrinated with this as a child growing up with the people who our surroundings are. I grew up in a Catholic church. This is all I knew, you know? And it was like, I could say the same for you and your parents and maybe you. I don't, you know, and a lot of people. And there's a lot of people who didn't have those parents at all, are like amazing Christians, you know? I'm just like, we are taught by someone these things, and then we decide to choose to keep educating ourselves on it. Like you wake up at 5 a.m. and read your Bible. Me, dude, I've never finished it. I've been wanting to start on audio, and just I'm fascinated by all the stories and everything. But
Yeah.
it's just I've never. And like I said, I admire you guys for having that ability to do that. You know? It's
that's
a beautiful thing.
That's where our faith comes into play.
Yeah.
Because dude, there's so many things I don't understand, and dude, I don't have answers for.
But I think there's people out there that think they do understand,
Yeah,
and
but
they want to
they're
go
being ignorant.
I know, and I think that's the discouragement with other people that
Like, there's so much about the Bible I don't understand or that I don't know. Or,
Yeah, we were talking about the Book of Enoch last week. How even the contradictions of like New Testament to all that stuff, you know, it's just like, and you should be open-minded. Like everybody, regardless of you full of faith and all that, you should be open-minded. And it was wonderful to hear your answers about what, like, you think about all that. Like it's,
Yeah, I'm appreciating your questions more because I've had this like real hunger lately to like dive into like a lot of theology behind it all. Because I just as a person, I don't like being a person that doesn't have answers. Like it just kind of, and I know there's like, and I know like full blown, like being a Christian, I totally understand. I know what I believe in, but I also know that there's things that I'm never meant to understand, and I won't. Like,
Yeah, I think all of us.
It says it actually very specifically in the Bible. Like, hey,
I just
you're just
think
not going to know all these things. Because guess what? You're not God. And it's like, oh. Well,
I think that's just life in general, too.
Yeah, and to me, I feel like that takes actually a lot of the pressure off. Does it give us an excuse to be so ignorant of why we believe certain things or why we think certain things? No, but...
No, that's why we're supposed to read God's word.
Right. But
Jordan and I both just looked up stuff. We were like, wait, because I didn't want to butcher what I said about the light thing. And I was like, I can't find it. But
dude, and what I love, though, about like what you were told us when you went out and you cried out to like, just pray, like, hey, like, you know, if you're real... I heard this awesome pastor yesterday was talking about like because he's been talking about manhood lately, and he's like, you know, a lot of people get men wrong. You know, they're like, oh yeah, men are supposed to be tame and all this different things. Like, God created men out of the dirt in the wilderness, and that's where their heart really is out in the wild, in the wilderness, and they were placed in the Garden of Eden, where Eve was born into the Garden of Eden, which is explains a lot of our different personalities between men and women. He's like, but the heart of a man is wild. And it's like,
I mean, testosterone drives us.
He's like, bro, you want to connect with God? He's like, get out in the wild.
Oh, it's the closest.
And he's like,
when I'm out there, it's the closest
yeah.
time I'm in that mindset.
But I love the fact that that's where you had that moment was out in the wild. Because
I don't think I could have had it anywhere else. I think that's like
shouldn't have.
Yeah.
It's very fitting for you.
And I think I think for you specifically, like. If anything, I'm like, bro, seek out that wild place. Because, like, a lot of Christianity seems to be, I feel like we tame it too much, where it's like, it's too much lamb and not enough lion. And it's like, bro.
It's because lion's not cool right now.
The wild. Like, that wild part of your heart.
Another thing you did, you said you prayed.
Yeah.
And I think you said it was like the first time you've prayed like that before. The day Charlie Kirk got shot.
Yeah, when he got shot.
You said you prayed and you don't even know the guy. And you don't even know what you were praying for, but you prayed.
Dude, I drive these streets, I feel for everybody.
I know, but that's another you can't say is a coincidence.
The thing is, I'm not saying it is and it isn't. I had so much shit happen to me in my life to where if I question everything, I would lose my mind.
Yeah.
I would literally like the amount of imposter syndrome I have that I'm like, I got to stop being that person because it eventually is going to take over, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be this person that I want. I am who I am, but it's just like I feel for everybody, man. Like I just
well, that's what we're technically as Christians we're supposed to.
Yeah. And the thing is, I also have the right to say certain things about certain people if I don't agree with them, and that's okay too. Yeah. I'm not here to hurt anybody's feelings, and I'm not here to make anybody feel bad. But it's heartbreaking to me when people give up on themselves, man.
Yeah,
100%.
It's literally, and I'm not trying to compare them, because that's the worst thing anybody could do is compare each other's lives.
Yeah.
It's like the worst thing that's ever happened to you is the worst thing that's ever happened to you. It's like that thing with Mike, right? It's like
your worst day is your worst day.
Your worst day. It's just like I'm not gonna. It took me a long time to stop comparing my life to other. And the moment I did that, I'm like, oh, it was so relieving, dude. It was so relieving of just like, I can't be angry at this person that he's not trying hard enough or whatever. You know, I did it so everybody could do it, and that's the flaw with man. Is just because you could do it doesn't mean everybody else could do it. If that was the case, we'll all be freaking billionaires. We'll all own 30 houses. Like all these influencers on, you know, and half of them don't even own anything, and they have like $10 in their account, and they say they own stuff. That's a whole different podcast. But I'm just saying, you know.
Are you telling me I'll never be like an 8 foot tall basketball player?
Never. In your dreams. Maybe in heaven you could decide who you want to be. But it's just like, it's.
Yeah.
You just got to live your life, man, and do the best you can. And if it means following in these footsteps, then do it if that's what makes you feel better. And life is a struggle regardless if you have faith or not. You choose to. We have us here in where we're at in the United States and have the options, so many options to live the life we want. So many people like those ones in Iran and all that, they don't have those options. They live the life they have to survive.
Yeah.
And when I see all this stuff going on and all this controversy here and these young people thinking they're like suffering, I'm like, you have no clue that you have a choice. And these people just, they choose to, they don't have a choice. They have to live the life that has been given to them, and they do the best they can.
Yeah.
You know?
Oof.
And
Let's end it there.
okay.
That's great. We're at an hour and 22 minutes.
Yeah, that was solid though.
So if you've made it through our 30 minutes of rambling about fat people on airplanes, you made it to this point where we're going to wrap it all back up to
it's a trick or treat.
one, always have food when your guests arrive.
Always,
Two,
regardless of, even if it's just nuts.
When they're there, when they show up, there should be some
know.
sort of
Yeah.
something to eat and drink.
Yeah.
Water,
even if it's
soda,
water with mint
yeah.
and cucumbers.
2, make sure you have enough food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3, don't be selfish prick and take all the food. 4, if you're too big, buy a second seat.
Oh, man.
And then last but not least,
Faith
Jesus
journey.
is real.
Technically, he is. I have tons of pictures of him in my house. Like, he's my homie. I see every.
I love
That's
Ben.
the other thing. I see this person every single day. The moment I wake up, and the moment I walk out my door, and the moment I walk in my door. Different versions.
See,
of him.
I love when I
you're
get to that point where I make you make that
See, my
face,
eyes
like
are
where you're just
watering.
like, oh dear Lord, please stop
Please
talking.
end this. I'm just kidding.
All that. Remember, be a good dude, be a good dad. I have to go to the bathroom so bad.